It all crumbles at a self-service kiosk in LAX. The cheerful beep's a mocking counterpoint to the hollow in my chest. I'm trying to book a flight to Thailand, a solo trip, a find myself again cliché after Sarah, my wife of 10 years, decided she needed to find herself, preferably without me. The screen blinks. Insufficient miles. That can't be right. I guard those miles like a dragon hoards gold. Over 500,000 meticulously accrued, earmarked for trips with Sarah, ironically. Now they're my escape fund. I tap the screen again, harder this time, as if brute force can conjure up my missing points. Still 0. My coffee, bought with the last dregs of optimism, sits on the little shelf beside the kiosk, growing cold. A metallic taste, sharp and unwelcome, floods my mouth. Betrayal. It has a flavor now. A call to the airline. The hold music is a special kind of torture, a tinny rendition of a song that was probably popular when I still believed in forever. Finally, a cheerful voice. Mr. Henderson, how can I help you? My miles, I say, my voice flat. They're gone. A flurry of keyboard clicks on her end. Ah, yes, Mr. Henderson. I see a recent redemption. 2 first-class tickets to Bali, booked 3 weeks ago. Bali. Sarah loves Bali. Or at least she always said she did. Under whose names? I ask, though a cold dread is already seeping into my bones. A Sarah Henderson and a Jacob Vance. Jacob. Jake. My best friend. The one who'd clapped me on the shoulder when Sarah moved out, saying, "You'll get through this, mate. I'm here for you." He was here for me, all right. Here to stick the knife in a little deeper. And the travel dates? I manage, the words like shards of glass in my throat. She reads them out. They match perfectly. The 3 weeks Sarah had tearfully told me she was going to Arizona to visit her sick mother. The mother who, I now realize with a sickening lurch, is probably playing bridge in Palm Springs, hale and hearty. The kiosk, the bustling airport, the cheerful airline agent, it all fades. There's only the roaring in my ears and the image of Sarah and Jake laughing, clinking champagne glasses in first class on my miles. Eloped. The word hits me with the force of a physical blow. My healing trip has just turned into something else entirely. My fingers, surprisingly steady, tap on my phone. Social media. It's a long shot, but there they are. Jake's profile, usually private, is suddenly public. A picture, posted just hours ago. Him and Sarah, tanned and radiant. A Balinese sunset painting the sky behind them. The caption, "Beginning our forever. #blessed #soulmates." I almost laugh, or maybe scream. The metallic taste in my mouth is stronger now. My airport coffee is stone cold. I take a sip anyway. It's bitter, fitting. Standing there, amidst the chaos of travelers rushing to their own beginnings and endings, a strange calm settles over me. It's the calm of a battlefield after the bombs have fallen, when the only thing left to do is assess the damage and plan the next move. My phone is still in my hand. I open my banking app. Shared credit cards. Sarah's name alongside mine. With a few precise taps, I cancel them. All of them. The primary cards, the supplementary ones. The little notification pings are surprisingly satisfying. A small, quiet act of power in a world that's just spun wildly out of my control. Let them try to check out of their 5-star Bali resort with a declined card. Then a memory flickers. Jake. Last year when his apartment flooded, he'd been a wreck. I'd helped him sort everything, lent him money, been the reliable friend. In a moment of frazzled gratitude, he'd given me the login to his premium rewards account. "Just in case, mate," he'd said, "for emergencies." I think this qualifies as an emergency. My thumb hovers over the icon for the rewards website, A new kind of trip is starting to form in my mind. Not one of healing, but of reclamation. The click of the keyboard is the loudest sound in my silent apartment. It's been 3 days since the airport revelation. 3 days fueled by stale pizza, black coffee, and a cold, simmering rage. The scent of pepperoni and betrayal hangs heavy in the air. Sleep is a distant memory. Thailand can wait. My new destination is the intricate labyrinth of Jake Vance's digital life. My mind flashes back, unbidden, to 6 months ago. Sarah had just left. The divorce papers were on the table, a stark white surrender. Jake was my rock, or so I thought. He'd show up with beer and bad movies, listen to me rant, tell me I was better off, that Sarah didn't deserve me. "She never appreciated you, Marcus," he'd said, his arm around my shoulder, the picture of supportive camaraderie. "You need to focus on yourself now." The hypocrisy of it all makes my stomach churn. He wasn't helping me through my divorce. He was clearing the path for his relationship with my wife, my ex-wife. The words still feel foreign. I navigate to the rewards website, my fingers typing in Jake's familiar email and the password he'd given me. Star Alliance King 77. He always was a bit arrogant. The page loads. My breath catches. It's not just one account. It's a constellation of them. Airline points, hotel points, credit card reward portals. He's linked them all. And the numbers, they're staggering. 1.2 million. Million. Across a dozen different cards. Some in his name, some clearly linked to Sarah. I recognize her spending patterns. The little online boutiques, the yoga retreats. They've been pooling their resources, living a secret life funded by loyalty points, while I was picking up the pieces of mine. He's been booking romantic getaways for months. A long weekend in Napa, just after Sarah told me she needed space to think. A ski trip to Aspen when she was supposedly at a work conference. Each transaction is a fresh stab, twisting the blade. The dates, the destinations, all painting a vivid, sickening picture of their duplicity. I find a shared cloud account. Their names. A folder titled, Our Future. My heart hammers against my ribs. I click. It's a treasure trove of their betrayal. Emails, spreadsheets, even a mood board for a wedding. Their wedding. Planned while Sarah was still my wife. They've been meticulous, planning this for over a year. A year of whispered conversations, secret meetings, stolen weekends. A year of me being the clueless, trusting fool. I read their messages, their sweet nothings, their complaints about me. "He's so predictable," Sarah had written to Jake. "I need excitement, someone who understands me." My hands tremble with a rage so profound, it's almost paralyzing. It's not just the affair, not just the stolen miles. It's the utter contempt, the casual cruelty. But the rage is a cold fire now, fueling a meticulous resolve. I take screenshots of everything. The account balances, the booking confirmations, their nauseating messages. I open a new spreadsheet, my fingers flying across the keys, cataloging their assets, their points, their lies. Each entry is a small act of defiance, a step towards something. Justice? Revenge? I don't know yet. But I know I can't let this stand. And then I see it. A tiny footnote in the terms and conditions of Jake's primary rewards card. Points expire 60 days from the last account activity, if not redeemed. The last activity was their Bali trip. 60 days. That gives me a deadline. A very interesting deadline. A plan begins to coalesce, hazy at first, then sharpening into focus. A round-the-world trip. First class, on their dime. Or, rather, on their points. The irony is delicious. I navigate to the airline booking page, my pulse quickening. Tokyo, first class, one way. The points required are substantial. but well within Jake's bloated balance. I select the flight, move to confirm, and the website crashes. A spinning wheel of doom. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please try again later. Later? I don't have later. I have a 60-day window and a burning need for retribution. I refresh the page. Nothing. Again. Still the spinning wheel. It's as if the universe itself is conspiring against me. Or maybe it's just their bad karma, already starting to boomerang. The calm I felt at the airport has returned. But it's different now. Sharper. More focused. The airline website is back up. A minor hiccup in the grand scheme of my unfolding plan. But first, a little stage setting. I dial Jake's number. He answers on the second ring, his voice still thick with Balinese bliss. "Marcus, everything okay, mate?" "Jake," I say, injecting a tremor into my voice. I'm in my apartment, but in my mind, I'm pacing a sterile hospital corridor. I even found a YouTube video of hospital ambience faint beeps, distant PA announcements, playing softly in the background. "It's Dad. He had a heart attack." A blatant lie. My father is, to my knowledge, perfecting his golf swing in Florida. "What? Oh my God, Marcus, is he—" "He's stable, for now. But the doctors, they said the next few days are critical. I need to get the family there. Mom's a mess." I let out a shaky breath. Oscar-worthy, if I do say so myself. "Of course, mate, of course. What do you need? Anything." Predictable. Jake, the loyal friend, always ready to swoop in. "Flights, Jake. I'm trying to book flights for everyone, but my main card got flagged for fraud. Can you believe the timing? And the limits on my others? I don't suppose?" I let the question hang. "Say no more. You still have my rewards login, right? The emergency one?" "I think so, yeah?" "Use it. Book whatever you need. First class, business, doesn't matter. Just get everyone there. Don't worry about the points, man. Family first." The magnanimous Jake. Using his ill-gotten gains to appear the hero. The irony is a physical ache. "Thanks, Jake. You're a lifesaver. Truly." I lay it on thick. "Sarah knows, right? Can you tell her I might be out of touch for a bit, dealing with all this?" "Already on it. We're cutting the honeymoon short. Flying back tomorrow to be there for you. Sarah feels terrible she wasn't there when it happened." Guilt. It's a powerful motivator. Theirs will be my chariot. I hang up, a grim smile playing on my lips. The smell of imaginary hospital disinfectant almost fools me. The faint, rhythmic beeping from my laptop speaker seals the illusion. Phase 1. Complete. Now for the fun part. With Jake's blessing, and more importantly, his points, I begin to weave my web. First leg, Los Angeles to Tokyo. Business class. A gentle start. I deserve a little comfort after all this. Booked. Next, a placeholder for a flight from Tokyo to Auckland. Then Auckland to Johannesburg. Johannesburg to Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires back to LA. A whirlwind tour of the globe, all courtesy of Mr. and Mrs. Vance Henderson's romantic escapades. I feel a strange sense of liberation, a shedding of the skin of Marcus, the grieving ex-husband. This new Marcus, the one embracing the deception, is far more interesting. They'll be home in what, 36 hours? I need to time this perfectly. I picture their welcome home party. Or rather, their rush home to support dear Marcus's gathering. Their friends, my old friends, offering condolences for my father's illness and praising Jake and Sarah for their selfless return. While they are distracted, basking in their false sainthood, I'll be sipping champagne at 30,000 feet. To cover my tracks, I set up a series of scheduled social media posts. Vague, mournful updates. Dark days. Leaning on family. Sometimes life just hits you. Enough to maintain the illusion that I'm at home, grieving, too distraught for direct contact. It's a delicate dance. I have roughly 48 hours from the moment I book the main legs of the trip until Jake, the Star Alliance King 77, inevitably checks his accounts and discovers the points holocaust. The tickets are booked. My bag is packed. Light, essential. This is a journey of liberation, not luggage. My phone buzzes. A text from Jake. Landing in LA in 12 hours. Straight to your place, bringing Sarah. Hold tight, mate. 12 hours. The clock is officially ticking. I'm zipping up my carry-on, a thrill coursing through me, a heady mix of fear and exhilaration, when there's a sharp knock on the door. My heart leaps into my throat. It's too soon. They can't be here already. I peer through the peephole. Sarah, alone, clutching a casserole dish. Sarah. My breath catches. What is she doing here? Alone? My carefully constructed timeline is already veering off course. Marcus? You in there? Her voice is muffled, concerned. I shove my packed bag behind the sofa, kick my passport under a cushion, think. Act normal. Or, rather, act like a man whose father just had a heart attack. I open the door a crack, feigning weakness. Sarah, what are you doing here? She pushes the door open gently, her eyes filled with a sympathy that makes my skin crawl. Jake told me about your dad. I'm so sorry, Marcus. I came as soon as I could. I brought your favorite tuna noodle casserole. She holds up the dish, a peace offering, or perhaps a guilt offering. That's thoughtful. I try to keep my voice raspy, weak. You shouldn't have. You just got back. Don't be silly. We wanted to be here for you. She steps inside, her gaze sweeping the apartment. It's too tidy for a man in the throes of a family crisis. I usually thrive in organized chaos. Grief, I imagine, would amplify that. Are you okay? You look terrible. Haven't slept much, I mumble, running a hand through my already disheveled hair. Just worried. I gesture vaguely towards the couch. I was just resting. She places the casserole on the coffee table. Her familiar perfume, the one I used to love, now smells cloying, suffocating. Rain begins to lash against the window, a sudden downpour, mirroring the turmoil inside me. You should eat something, she says, her voice soft. Too soft. Then her eyes land on the small stack of papers on the edge of the counter. My research, flight options, visa requirements. Among them, a printout of an old itinerary, one from a trip we took years ago. I'd left it out as a decoy, in case she snooped. What are these? She asks, picking them up. Her fingers brush against the corner of my actual boarding pass for Tokyo, peeking out from beneath the old itinerary. My heart seizes. Panic, cold and sharp, rises in my throat. Oh, those... I force a weak, melancholic smile. Just old memories, thinking about happier times. I cough, a dry, pathetic sound. Looking at them just makes me sad now. She puts them down, her expression unreadable. Did she see it? The edge of the new ticket? The gate number? The destination that is definitely not Florida? You should get rid of them then, she says quietly. No point dwelling on the past. The irony is almost too much to bear. She fusses for a few more minutes, plumping cushions, offering to make tea. Every second is an eternity. I feel like a bomb about to detonate. Finally, mercifully, she says, Well, I should let you rest. Jake will be here soon. We'll both be back. Call if you need anything. Anything at all. She gives me a hesitant hug. It feels like being embraced by a ghost. As soon as the door clicks shut behind her, I sag against it, relief washing over me in a dizzying wave. That was too close. But the relief is short-lived. A chilling thought. She saw something. Maybe not the details, but the fact that there were new tickets. Her eyes, they lingered a moment too long on that stack of papers. She's not stupid, and she knows me, knows my tells. I grabbed my phone. Text Jake. Feeling overwhelmed. Phone off, going to mountains to clear head. Dad's stable but need quiet. Don't worry. We'll check in later. A digital smoke screen. He'll buy it. He's too busy playing the returning hero. My bag is already by the door. I don't even bother with the casserole. My appetite for her cooking, for anything she represents, is gone. I'm out the door, down the stairs, and into the relentless rain, hailing a cab before I can second-guess myself. The airport is a blur of fluorescent lights and anxious faces. I navigate security on autopilot, my eyes constantly scanning, half expecting to see Sarah and Jake materialize around every corner. I make it to the gate just as they announce final boarding for Tokyo. As the plane taxis down the runway, I connect to the airplane Wi-Fi. My phone explodes with notifications, texts from Jake. Frantic. "Marcus, where are you?" "My points, they're gone. All of them." "Someone hacked my account. Did you see anything suspicious?" "Marcus, call me. This is a disaster." A grim satisfaction settles in. He knows. Then, a news alert pops up on my phone. LAX, security breach. 2 individuals attempting to bypass TSA, claiming a family emergency. The live feed shows a grainy image. My blood runs cold. It's them. Sarah and Jake, looking harried, arguing with airport officials. They're not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be at my apartment, eating tuna casserole and wringing their hands over my father. What in God's name are they doing? And how did they figure it out so fast? The plane lurches forward, pressing me back into my seat as it accelerates down the runway. Too late now. Whatever game they're playing, I'm already airborne. The first-class lounge at Narita Airport is an oasis of calm. I'm sipping premium sake, the smooth liquid warming me from the inside out, a welcome contrast to the chill of the last few days. Outside the panoramic windows, Tokyo glitters, a sprawling galaxy of lights. The delicate notes of a koto drift through the air. On my plate, a jewel box arrangement of sushi, so fresh it practically melts on my tongue. This is the life. Or, more accurately, this is Jake's life. The one he's been funding with deceit. And now it's mine, for a little while anyway. My phone buzzes. A video call. It's Jake. His face is a mask of fury, his usually perfectly styled hair askew. Sarah hovers in the background, tears streaming down her face, her carefully applied makeup smudged. They look like they've been through a war. Good. "Marcus, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Jake roars, his voice distorted by the connection. I take another leisurely sip of sake. "Enjoying the view? How was your flight to LA? Comfortable, I trust?" "Don't play games with me, you bastard! You stole my points. All of them. We know it was you." "Stole?" I raise an eyebrow. An interesting choice of words, Jake, considering how those points were acquired. And my miles to Bali? Was that borrowing? Or just outright theft? Sarah lets out a sob in the background. "Marcus, please," she whimpers. "Just give them back. We can talk about this." "Talk?" I almost laugh. "We had 10 years to talk, Sarah. You chose to have conversations with my best friend instead, in exotic locations, on my dime." Jake's face is turning a rather unflattering shade of purple. "I'm going to sue you, Marcus, for everything. This is fraud, grand larceny." "Is it, Jake? Is it really? Or is it just creative accounting? You gave me access, remember? For emergencies." I lean closer to the camera, my voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "And believe me, discovering my wife and my best friend eloped to Bali on my frequent flyer miles after a year-long affair conducted while you were supposedly supporting me through our separation, That felt like a pretty significant emergency. The color drains from Jake's face. Sarah gasps. Their shock is a heady whine. I savor their desperation, their panic. It's a bitter-sweet nectar. "You knew?" Sarah whispers, her eyes wide with a dawning horror. "How long have you known?" "Long enough, Sarah. Long enough to appreciate the artistry of your betrayal. The sheer, unadulterated gall." I pause, letting the weight of it sink in. The divorce? That hurt, yes. But this collusion, this calculated deception between the two people I trusted most in the world, that's a masterpiece of pain. Jake sputters. "It wasn't like that. Sarah, she was unhappy. I was just..." "Just what, Jake? A shoulder to cry on? A sympathetic ear? Or a co-conspirator in the systematic dismantling of my life?" I can see his privilege now, clear as day. Jake, who's never faced a real consequence in his pampered life. His wealthy parents always there to bail him out, smooth things over. He probably thought this would be no different. A little awkwardness, maybe. Then back to his charmed existence. Not this time. I raise my sake cup in a mock toast. To new beginnings, yours and mine. And with that, I end the call. The silence in the lounge feels profound. My fingers dance across my phone screen. Auckland, New Zealand, first class, booked. I post a carefully curated photo to my newly public Instagram. Me, smiling serenely, sake cup in hand, the glittering Tokyo skyline behind me. Caption: "Finding peace, one city at a time. #wanderlust, #new horizons, #no regrets. Let them stew in that." My phone rings again. Sarah. Her voice is choked with tears. "Marcus, please, I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. Just come home. We can work things out. Please, I'm begging you." Work things out? The delusion is almost impressive. "There's nothing to work out, Sarah," I say, my voice devoid of the emotion that's churning inside me. "You made your choice. Jake made his. Now I'm making mine." I hang up before she can reply. A new message pops up. Not from Jake or Sarah. It's a news alert, forwarded from a friend who's clearly following my social media exploits with a mixture of horror and glee. Prominent federal prosecutor's son, embroiled in airline points scandal. There's a picture of Jake, looking sullen, and a brief mention of his father, a name I vaguely recognize from high-profile corruption cases. A federal prosecutor? Jake's father? The game just got a lot more complicated, and a lot more dangerous. The taste of sake suddenly isn't so sweet. The wind howls past my ears, a primal scream that echoes the exhilaration thrumming through my veins. For a glorious 5 seconds, I'm weightless, suspended between the azure sky and the turquoise slash of the Kawarau River far below. Then gravity reasserts itself, and I'm plummeting, a wild, joyous laugh ripped from my throat. Bungee jumping in Queenstown. It's the most alive I've felt in years. The adrenaline is a potent cocktail, washing away the last vestiges of Marcus, the heartbroken husband. Up here, surrounded by the jagged peaks of the Remarkables, breathing in the crisp, clean mountain air, I'm just me, free. The high lasts until I check into my luxury hotel, another gem paid for by Jake's rapidly dwindling hotel points. An email sits in my inbox, formal, threatening, from a prestigious law firm. Subject: urgent legal matter. Mr. Jacob Vance. It's a cease and desist, outlining potential charges: fraud, identity theft, unauthorized access to financial accounts. Signed by none other than Jake's father, in his capacity as a private citizen, of course, but the implication is clear. The federal prosecutor is on the warpath. Fear, A cold, unwelcome serpent begins to coil in my gut. I spend the afternoon not exploring Queenstown's beauty, but hunched over my laptop, researching extradition treaties and the finer points of international wire fraud. This isn't just about stolen points anymore. This could be real trouble, jail time, a criminal record. The thrill of revenge is suddenly tainted with a very real anxiety. But defiance is a stubborn weed. They want to play hardball? Fine. I book my next leg. Johannesburg, South Africa. A safari. Something I've always dreamed of. Another hefty chunk of Jake's points. Then, a quiet power move of my own. I email my divorce lawyer, the one who's been patiently handling the surprisingly amicable split. I attach screenshots, bank statements highlighting the Bali trip booked on my miles, the social media posts. Just thought this might be relevant to the division of assets, I write. Specifically, reimbursement for certain travel expenses incurred by my ex-wife and her companion. Let Sarah explain that to a judge. My phone rings, an unknown New Zealand number. It's Sarah's divorce lawyer. Her voice is strained. Mr. Henderson, Sarah is distraught. She's willing to drop any claims, forego any further settlement if you just return the points and come home. She says this has all been a terrible misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? A year-long affair and grand theft are misunderstandings now? Tell Sarah, I say, my voice like ice, that the only misunderstanding was my belief in her and in my best friend. The points are non-refundable, as is my disillusionment. I hang up. Another video call. This time it's my actual father. He's seen my Instagram, heard the rumors that are undoubtedly swirling through our extended family. I expect a lecture. Instead, his face is split by a wide grin. "Son," he says, his voice booming with pride. "About damn time you stood up for yourself. That boy Jake always was a shifty little prick. And Sarah, well, never trust a woman who reorganizes your sock drawer without asking." It's not the most eloquent support, but it's exactly what I need. He tells me he loves me, to be careful, and to send pictures from the safari. The momentary warmth is shattered by a frantic text from my friend back in LA. "Dude, Jake's on a flight to Queenstown. He tracked your IP from the hotel booking. Get out of there now!" My blood turns to ice. He's here or on his way? I look out my hotel window at the serene lake, the peaceful town. It suddenly feels like a trap. I'm grabbing my passport, stuffing clothes haphazardly into my bag, when the hotel phone rings. The concierge. "Mr. Henderson? There's a gentleman at the front desk asking for you. A Mr. Vance?" Panic claws at my throat. I can hear muffled, angry voices through the phone. Jake demanding to be let up. "Tell him I'm not here," I hiss. "Tell him I checked out this morning." "Sir, he seems quite insistent." I'm already moving towards the service exit. "Just stall him." As I slip out the back door and into a waiting taxi, a flicker of movement at the front entrance of the hotel catches my eye. Jake. His face thunderous, arguing with hotel security. He looks unhinged. This is escalating far beyond what I'd anticipated. The thrill of the chase is gone, replaced by a primal need to escape. The game is no longer just mine to control. The African savanna stretches before me, a canvas of gold and green under a sky so vast it steals your breath. Dust, kicked up by the wheels of our open-top Jeep, powders my skin, a gritty souvenir of this wild, untamed land. The distant roar of a lion vibrates through the air, a primal sound that resonates deep in my chest. I'm on a luxury safari in Kenya, ticking off a lifelong dream, each incredible sighting. A graceful giraffe, a herd of thundering wildebeest, a family of elephants bathing in a watering hole, a small act of defiance against the storm brewing back home. The scent of acacia trees, dry earth, and something uniquely wild fills my nostrils. This is freedom, raw and exhilarating. But freedom, I'm quickly learning, is a relative concept. As our Jeep pulls up to the exclusive safari lodge after a sunset game drive, a figure detaches itself from the shadows of the veranda. My heart plummets. Jake. How? How is he always one step behind, or in this case, one step ahead? He looks worse for wear. His clothes are rumpled, his hair is matted with sweat, and there are dark circles under his eyes. He clearly flew commercial. Coach, by the looks of it. A small, petty part of me takes satisfaction in that. "Marcus," he says, his voice hoarse. There's no anger in it, just a profound weariness. The other guests are discreetly ushered away by the lodge staff. They're used to drama, I suppose, just usually of the four-legged variety. Jake and I are left alone, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the vast expanse of the savannah our unwilling audience. "How did you find me?" I ask, my voice flat. "It wasn't hard," he says, gesturing vaguely. "Your Instagram geotags are a bit of a giveaway. Plus you used my hotel points. Again." A flicker of the old Jake, the arrogant one. Then it's gone. "Can we just talk? No lawyers, no threats, just talk?" We sit on the veranda, a bottle of local beer between us, the sounds of the African night amplifying the tension. He doesn't try to make excuses. Not at first. He just looks out at the horizon, the fading light catching the exhaustion etched on his face. "She came on to me, you know," he says finally, his voice barely a whisper. "Sarah. After she moved out. She was relentless. Texting, calling, showing up at my place. Said she'd made a mistake with you, that you didn't understand her, that I was the only one who ever did." I stare at him, my mind reeling. This isn't the narrative I'd constructed. In my version, Jake was the predator, Sarah the willing, if misguided, accomplice. "And you just went along with it?" He winces. "It's more complicated than that, Marcus. We were friends, all of us. I was confused, flattered maybe, lonely." He looks at me then, his eyes filled with a pain that mirrors my own. "I tried to tell you, months ago, after that disastrous camping trip, remember? When you and Sarah fought the whole time. I tried to talk to you about us, about how things were. But you were so hurt, so angry about Sarah. You wouldn't listen. You just wanted me to bash her with you." A memory surfaces, hazy and unwelcome. That camping trip, the bitter arguments. Jake trying to interject, me shutting him down, needing an ally, not a mediator. Had he been trying to confess then? Had I been too wrapped up in my own pain to see it? The thought is disquieting. My anger, so solid for so long, begins to waver, a flicker of an unwanted sympathy stirring within me. He looks broken, trapped. "I never wanted to hurt you, Marcus," he continues, his voice cracking. "You're my best friend. Or you were." He takes a long swig of beer. "I was scared. Scared of losing you, scared of losing her. I buried my head in the sand, and it all just snowballed." As if on cue, his phone buzzes on the table. "Sarah." He answers, his voice tight. "What is it, Sarah?" He listens for a moment, his face paling. "Pregnant? Are you sure? How far along?" Another pause. He looks at me, his eyes wide with a new, dawning horror. "Oh God, Marcus." He hangs up, his hand trembling. "She's pregnant," he chokes out. "About 3 months. She says the timing." He doesn't need to finish the sentence. 3 months ago, Sarah and I were still technically together, still occasionally sharing a bed in misguided attempts at reconciliation. The baby, it's probably mine. Jake breaks down then, a raw, ragged sob escaping him. I didn't know, Marcus. I swear. She told me it was mine. That we'd make it work. He scrubs at his eyes. She's been playing us both, all this time. The full weight of Sarah's manipulation crashes down on me. The affair, the elopement, the lies, the pregnancy. It was never just about passion or a fresh start. It was a calculated campaign. She wanted Jake's money, his family's influence. She needed me out of the picture, discredited, gone. The miles, the points, they were just collateral damage, a way to fund her scheme and, perhaps, to punish me for not being the man she wanted. The sun has dipped below the horizon, plunging the savannah into a deep twilight. The sounds of the wild are closer now, more insistent. And then another sound, the crunch of tires on gravel. Headlights cut through the darkness, sweeping across the lodge. 2 Land Rovers, official-looking, pulling up to the entrance. Park rangers. But they're not here for a late-night conservation chat. One of them holds a piece of paper. It looks official. It looks like a warrant. "Mr. Marcus Henderson?" one of them calls out, his voice carrying clearly in the still night air. "We have a warrant for your arrest. Interpol." Interpol. Sarah wasn't just playing games. She was playing for keeps. Adrenaline, cold and sharp, floods my system. Interpol. This is no longer a game of wits and stolen luxuries. This is real, hardcore, international fugitive stuff. Jake looks as stunned as I feel. "Go! Back way!" A voice hisses from the lodge doorway. It's David, our safari guide. A man whose quiet competence I'd admired during our game drives. He gestures urgently. "Staff quarters. They won't look there first. We don't need telling twice." We scramble off the veranda, plunging into the darkness behind the lodge, David leading the way through a maze of laundry lines and storage sheds. We can hear raised voices from the front, the rangers demanding entry. We huddle in a cramped, stuffy room, the air thick with the smell of diesel and old canvas. Sweat stings my eyes. Dirt cakes my already filthy clothes. The distant crackle of a radio, official sounding, makes my heart pound. This is it, the end of the line. The taste of fear, metallic and bitter, fills my mouth again, a grim echo of that day at LAX. "Interpol," Jake whispers, his voice shaking. How the hell did she manage that? "Your father," I say, the pieces clicking into place. "She must have convinced him I'm some kind of dangerous criminal, fleeing the country, kidnapping you, whatever lies she spun." Jake nods slowly, his face grim. "She told him you were unstable, that you'd threatened her. He'd believe anything she said if it made me look like the victim and him the savior." He runs a hand through his matted hair. "She's been manipulating the legal system through him, Marcus, using his power, his connections, to come after you." A sudden, perverse bond forms between us in that dusty little room. We're no longer Marcus the betrayed and Jake the betrayer. We're just 2 guys caught in the crosshairs of a woman far more ruthless than either of us had ever imagined. Panic, a shared, visceral thing, tightens its grip. Sarah hasn't just been playing us against each other for money. She's been orchestrating our downfall. "We need to get out of here," I say, my mind racing. "Out of Africa." David reappears, a shadowy figure in the doorway. "Rangers are searching the lodge. Won't be long before they check here. There's a private airstrip, about 20 clicks north, used by some of the high roller clients. A charter pilot owes me a favor. He can get you to Nairobi, maybe connect to something further." It's a long shot, but it's the only shot we have. "What about points?" Jake asks, a flicker of his old self. "Can we—" I almost laugh. "Priorities, Jake." But then an idea. "Actually, maybe." I pull out my phone, my fingers flying. Jake's remaining hotel points are substantial. Enough for 2 tickets, business class, Nairobi to Perth, Australia. It's the closest major hub outside of Africa that's not heading back towards Europe or the Americas. And it's far from Interpol's immediate grasp, I hope. Booked. Another quiet power move, this time born of desperation, not revenge. The escape is a blur. Crouching low in the back of David's beat-up Land Cruiser, bouncing over unpaved tracks, every shadow a potential threat. The private airstrip is little more than a dirt clearing and a windsock. The charter plane is small, ancient-looking, but the pilot is calm and reassuring. David shakes our hands, a wry smile on his face. "Good luck, gentlemen, and try to stay out of the news, eh?" As the tiny plane bumps into the night sky, leaving the Kenyan wilderness behind, Jake pulls out his own phone. "Look at this," he says, showing me a string of messages between him and Sarah. Messages where she's subtly coaching him on what to tell his father, how to paint me as the aggressor, the unstable ex. Messages where she talks about our future, and how once I'm dealt with, they can finally be together, secure. It's chillingly manipulative. Proof, if we can ever use it. We spend the flight in a tense silence, the drone of the engines a counterpoint to our racing thoughts. We're fugitives now. Our shared enemy isn't just Sarah anymore. It's her puppet master, Jake's powerful father, and the long arm of international law. We're somewhere over the vast, dark expanse of the Indian Ocean when the pilot's voice crackles over the intercom, tight with a forced calm. Gentlemen, we seem to be experiencing a bit of mechanical difficulty. Nothing to worry about, just a precaution. But we're going to need to divert and find the nearest suitable airport for an emergency landing." Mechanical difficulty, over the Indian Ocean. My stomach clenches. Our luck, it seems, has finally run out. The emergency landing in Perth is anything but smooth. Flashing lights, the shriek of emergency vehicles, the acrid smell of jet fuel. It's a chaotic welcome to Western Australia. As soon as we're on the tarmac, Marcus and I are surrounded by grim-faced authorities. Cold metal handcuffs click around my wrists, so much for escaping Interpol's grasp. And then, as if summoned by the drama, Sarah appears. She's flanked by Jake's father, looking every inch the powerful federal prosecutor, and a team of slick lawyers. Sarah rushes towards Jake, tears streaming, playing the role of the terrified, relieved victim to perfection. "Oh, Jacob, thank God you're safe. That monster, what did he do to you?" She glares at me, her eyes filled with a venom that could curdle milk. The courtroom is a blur. Bright lights, stern faces, the murmur of legal jargon. Sarah is on the stand, weaving a fantastical tale of my supposed descent into madness, my jealousy, my elaborate plot to steal Jake's identity and kidnap him, all funded by stolen points. She's good, I'll give her that. She cries on cue, her voice trembling with faux fear. Jake's father watches me with cold, calculating eyes. But my lawyer, a sharp, no-nonsense woman I'd contacted from the detention center, is ready. She presents the evidence, the screenshots of my airline account showing the Bali tickets, the social media posts of their elopement, Jake's initial frantic texts about his points being hacked, not about being kidnapped. She even has the manifest from the charter flight, showing 2 willing passengers, not a kidnapper and his victim. My rage, a constant companion for weeks, simmers just beneath the surface. I want to scream at Sarah, to expose her lies for all to see. But I hold my tongue, letting my lawyer dismantle Sarah's story piece by piece. Then Jake is called to the stand. This is it, the moment of truth. He looks at his father, then at Sarah, then at me. The silence in the courtroom is absolute. He takes a deep breath. Everything Sarah said. It's not true. A gasp ripples through the courtroom. Jake's father leaps to his feet, but the judge bangs her gavel, demanding order. Jake continues, his voice gaining strength. He tells them everything. About the affair, Sarah's pursuit, his own weakness, the stolen miles, the manipulation. He admits he went to Kenya willingly, to confront me, to try and understand. He even shows the messages from Sarah, the ones coaching him on how to lie to his father. The courtroom is stunned into silence. The final nail in Sarah's coffin is the medical evidence. My lawyer had subpoenaed Sarah's medical records. The pregnancy timeline is irrefutable. The conception date, a small window of opportunity, falls squarely within a period when Jake was out of the country on a business trip. A period when Sarah and I, in a moment of foolish, desperate hope, had briefly reconciled. The baby is mine. Sarah's carefully constructed web of lies unravels. Her fake, sick mother story is exposed when the prosecution, now scrambling, tries to verify her alibi and finds her mother playing golf in Arizona, very much alive and well. Then, Sarah herself breaks. Under cross-examination, confronted with the irrefutable evidence, she crumbles. The tears are real this time, but they're tears of rage and desperation, not sorrow. She screams about debts, about being trapped, about how Jake's trust fund was supposed to be her ticket out. It's an ugly, pathetic meltdown. The judge, a steely-eyed woman who clearly suffers no fools, dismisses all charges against me. She orders Sarah to repay the full value of the miles she used for the Bali trip. She even admonishes Jake's father for attempting to misuse his position. As Jake and I walk out of the courthouse, blinking in the Australian sun, free men, a quiet power move forms in my mind. I turn to my lawyer. About the baby, I say. I want full custody, and I want Sarah to sign away all parental rights. In exchange, I'll drop any further charges related to the initial theft of my miles. It's a hard bargain, but a necessary one. Jake, to his credit, supports me. He's finally chosen friendship, chosen what's right, over his father's approval and Sarah's toxic manipulations. My phone rings. It's the travel agency that booked my original, ill-fated round-the-world trip. "Mr. Henderson," a cheerful voice says. "We have a confirmation for the final leg of your journey. We just need to know your preferred departure date from wherever you are now." The final leg. It feels like a lifetime ago that I booked it. Buenos Aires to Los Angeles. Home. The champagne bubbles tickle my nose. I'm in first class, naturally. Somewhere over the Pacific, Los Angeles. A distant promise on the horizon. Beside me, Jake clinks his glass against mine. "To rebuild friendships," he says, a genuine smile finally reaching his eyes. "And to learning things the hard way." "I'll drink to that," I say. The soft leather seat a welcome comfort. The clouds below are a fluffy white carpet, a world away from the turbulence of the past few weeks. The resolution in Australia was swift, once Sarah's charade imploded. Faced with fraud charges for forging documents related to her sick mother alibi and the potential of a protracted custody battle she couldn't afford, she signed the papers. My child, when he or she arrives, will be raised by me. A daunting prospect, but one I'm surprisingly ready for. Sarah, I hear, is facing a slew of legal troubles back in the States, not just for the forged documents, but for various financial shenanigans that came to light during her courtroom meltdown. Poetic justice, in a way. As for Jake's father, he's reportedly under an ethics investigation for abuse of power. The mighty have a long way to fall. The last of Jake's points, or rather, the points I'd commandeered, were used for this flight home. There was a small surplus, not enough for another grand adventure, but enough for a final, satisfying gesture. Walking through the business-class cabin earlier, I'd noticed an elderly couple, clearly on a special trip, looking a little overwhelmed. A quiet word with the flight attendant, a discreet use of the remaining points, and they were discreetly upgraded to the empty first-class seats across the aisle from us. Their surprised, tearful gratitude was worth more than any 5-star hotel. It felt good, clean. I finally feel liberated. The anger, the betrayal, the consuming need for revenge, it's all faded, replaced by a quiet sense of peace and an unexpected clarity. This whole insane journey, born of pain and deceit, has inadvertently shown me a new path. Back in Los Angeles, my apartment feels different. I'd hired a decorator before I left for Tokyo, giving them carte blanche. "Surprise me," I'd said. And they did. It's lighter, brighter, minimalist. No ghosts of Sarah here. It's a blank canvas. My blank canvas. Jake, true to his word, starts therapy. He begins to distance himself from his family's money and the suffocating expectations that came with it. He even gets a normal job, something he's actually interested in, not just a sinecure at his father's friend's company. He's happier, more himself. A week after I'm back, I get a call. A travel magazine. They'd seen my Instagram posts, the ones that weren't just taunting Jake and Sarah, but also captured the beauty and chaos of my impromptu world tour. They want me to write for them. A regular column. Travel, adventure, finding yourself in unexpected places. It seems my revenge trip has accidentally become a career opportunity. Life settles into a new rhythm. Planning for the baby, writing, rebuilding my friendship with Jake on new, more honest terms. The anger is gone, replaced by a kind of weary understanding. We were all fools in our own way. 1 year later, Jake and I are co-running a travel blog. Two Idiots Abroad, we call it. It's surprisingly successful. Our dynamic, his wry humor, my more introspective observations works. We're planning a trip to Patagonia, research of course. Then, a package arrives. Sleek, black. Inside, a new premium credit card, my name on it. A note from Jake. For our next adventure. But let's plan this one together, shall we? And maybe use our own miles this time. I laugh. He's learned. We both have. I open my laptop. Iceland, Northern Lights. Something we've both always wanted to see. I book 2 tickets, Economy Plus, a legitimate purchase. My own miles this time. I send Jake the confirmation. His reply is instantaneous. Looks amazing, just one condition. What's that? I type back. You're in charge of the snacks. My treat on the champagne, though, once we're actually on the plane. Yeah, we're going to be okay.